I'm back at my favorite place, the Rooms. It's a provincial museum located near my home. And on a beautiful day, when it's sunny and the wind is blowing just gently, it's such a beautiful place. So much greenery around here, trees. The museum is right there. In one of my previous videos, I talked about how I actually was one of the first archaeologists working on this dig here more than 20 years ago. We came out here to dig out a fortress buried here in 17th century. It was such a funny time. So, you can see that in my previous video, I think. And now it's a complete project. Now it's here. Few weeks ago, we played a show here at the Rooms. We played a concert. I played all my original songs about different things, and it's amazing to see how things progressed, how things happen. Like how time passes and things change, and you are part of it. It's humbling. It's prideful as well. I mean, there's a lot of different things about this whole experience, about the passing of time and being a human, because that's the only constant, it seems to me. Time passes, our bodies change, and I guess we die, and then we go to a new journey or something like that. We're yet to discover that. Unfortunately, all that knowledge has been locked away somewhere. I don't believe that this is just one trip around the sun. I do think that our souls are eternal. Look at our DNA; it's thousands of years old. There's so much information within our DNA that passes on from parents to children and so on. That obviously there's so much more that we don't know. I mean, we are yet to design a computer or a microchip or artificial intelligence, anything that can process this much information that is basically processed through simple biological reproduction. Yeah. Welcome to another newfound vlog. The wind is picking up and it's gonna be picked up by the microphone as well, but that's okay. It's part of the ambience. It's going to mute some things that you shouldn't hear. I've mentioned this many times, that every time I feel, how can I say, sad, overwhelmed by this existence, I turn on the camera and just record videos. Rarely do I, make videos when I'm really happy. So it is what it is. This one is also just like that. One of the reasons why I started this video today was because I watched this TikTok this morning that was about this fortune teller located somewhere in the States. She's one of my favorite fortune tellers, I guess, and according to my TikTok algorithm, she pops up quite often when I start my application. So in this video, she kind of summed up her life in about 2 minutes. She told the story of her marriage. She was married for 20 years, and her husband cheated on her and left her for another person. And then they went through the process of divorce, and during the divorce, she was ordered to sell her house and give half of the money to him, even though she actually was the one providing for the family. She worked for 20 years at this company and he didn't. According to her, I don't know exactly their story, but people, I find that people don't really lie. They tell their own side of the story, and of course it's always different than the other person's side of the story. But her experience and her view is valid enough for her. So after 20 years, not only that she lost her husband, but she also lost her home, and she's going to be homeless with 2 kids. There's a bee flying around. And that's it. 2 minutes later, you learn so much about this person who is popping up daily on my TikTok feed to encourage me to send messages from the universe to us, the messages of encouragement, of warning, of different things. It's amazing because I ask myself, where do these messages come from? A lot of times these channelers, people who say we channel messages from the universe, from the spirits, and somehow these messages resonate with me. It's almost like they're talking to me about my life, and it's amazing how this AI or this algorithm or this new technology can sort of speak to us on such a personal level. And I mean, we all seem to have a connection or a relationship with our technology. I mean, whenever you open your TikTok, you're going to get messages that are tailored to you. When I open my TikTok, it's going to be tailored to me. Same with YouTube. Same with Facebook. I mean, on Facebook, I have 2,000-3,000 friends, and they are all over the world. But the only thing I see is people that are kind of, I guess, near me, or that are reacting to me or to my posts. So, and probably goes the same way to my friends. Sometimes I ask myself whether they're all like sick and tired of just looking at my posts. Like, don't they wish to see something else or something different? But that's the way it is. We all get what we should get, or whatever maybe the universe or whoever is controlling the algorithm wants us to see. Where do the messages come from? Are they stored on the inside or the outside? I believe that there's a huge connection between the inside and the outside, that there's a symbiotic relationship. It's impossible to be happy in a world that's sad, or it's impossible to be sad in a world that's happy. When you enter a room that's full of happiness, of course you're going to smile. When you enter a room that's full of sadness and misery and fear, you're going to feel the same. So collective is always stronger than an individual. And that's one of the kind of messages that I wanted to share in this video. Again, just like the TikTok video I watched this morning of this fortune-telling lady in her life, I ask myself the same question, what is it all about? Why am I doing the things that I'm doing, I had no idea that I would be here again in Newfoundland, after 20 years sitting at the place that I was working at 20 years ago, or that any of these things would happen to me. They were to happen. I'm just coming from shopping. I went to local grocery store. I found some minced meat, ground beef on sale, so I decided to get some beef, make some hamburgers for my 2 sons and myself. I had no idea that my life would turn out this way, that three of us would be living together, that I would be, cooking, doing all these things, that I assumed my wife would do for the rest of her life. That I would get married, that my wife would cook for us, that my kids would be happy, that I would just, fart around and enjoy my life. But no, I mean, things happened the way they did. And I guess my job now is just to be. I mean, you don't have to be happy, you don't have to be sad, you don't have to force yourself to be anything. This is, like I said, external more so than internal. But here I am, living as a single father here in Canada, after traveling the whole wide world and having a chance to choose any place in the world to live in and to work in. So many times I wanted to move back home and maybe like open a small like jazz club where I can play music. Instead, I came here to Newfoundland, opened a restaurant that went bankrupt. We lost the restaurant, we lost the house, lost the family, for so many different reasons. I mean, things had to happen the way they did in order for us to get where we are today. And wherever we are today is, there we are here. There's a lovely lady that just came out of the police station, which is right here, and she has yellow pants and drives a small Mazda Miata. Interesting, such a colorful character. It takes all kinds. So yes, this is it. On my YouTube channel, I have about 300 videos. And I don't think I've even scratched the surface of my existence. In the end, we can only see the tip of the iceberg. Everything else that kind of shaped us is buried beneath us. It's impossible for me, to put my life in, let's say, 2 minutes. And honestly, a person looking at me from outside can sum me up in one sentence or two maximum. If you ask who Eldin is, they will tell you exactly. But different people will tell you different stories because people know me differently. Some people know me as a musician. Some people know me as a parent. Some people know me as a social worker. Some people know me as a comedian. Some people know me as a criminal. It all depends on the perspective, and these different people will tell you different stories of me. And the same goes for everybody else. Is this lady summed up in this 2 minutes video of sadness of 20 years that just according to her, kind of went down the drain because of something that's, should have not happened. But why not? I mean, we can see that everything is changing, that our way of connecting with each other, our relationships, our family dynamics, they are changing so greatly that we can no longer hold on to the old paradigms, old ways of thinking and doing things. I can't imagine, getting married and having this person cater to my needs for the next 30 years. It used to be okay. Now it's impossible. These days it's simply impossible. We have this open market of everything. So I don't think anybody can really focus on just one thing. We change partners, we change cars, we change instruments, we change friends, we change countries. But we can't change ourselves, or can we? Who are we? I mean, are we the pain or are we the happiness? Is it possible to be one or the other? I mean, I wonder if I were to put down a 2-minute video about myself, or if somebody was to tell me about me, would they describe me as a happy person or as a sad person? Or nobody really knows anybody, you know. That's normal, because who we are publicly and who we are privately are completely different things. And I think it's time, you know, for us to merge these two, which opens a whole new Pandora's box of everything, because really we tend to like having borders. You know, we want to know the public Eldin, but we don't really want to know the personal or private Eldin. Because private Eldin might be something that we just can't or don't want to handle. And the same goes for everybody else. But, you know, that's the way it is. Like, I mean, without pain, there will be no happiness. You know, if we insist on having happiness, we're never gonna be happy, because it has to. We have to have both. You know, I'm a musician and I go out to play music to make people happy, to make people dance. But sometimes when I don't feel, you know, like myself, I will go out and play a song and people will come up to me, my God, we all want just to cry. Great. Why not? That's a human feeling as well. Maybe a road to your heart is through pain and suffering rather than through happiness. Positive and negative reinforcement. Which one is better for us? We don't know. But one thing that I kind of wanted to share again is that, you know, this goes from that saying, nobody's prophet in their village, or you can't do things alone. You know, our society teaches us, you know, you have to take care of yourself, you have to put on your mask first, and all that jazz, that you have to help yourself and you're responsible for yourself. And of course, to a degree, that's true. But I really beg to differ. I think that I can help pretty much anybody in this world. I can motivate people, I can, you know, push them to be better, I can feed them, I can listen to them, I can make them happy, I can make them sad, you know. But the only person that I truly can't help is myself. You know, I cannot have sex with myself, because then it's just masturbation. I cannot do a lot of things that are really necessary for my personal development by myself. Look, I'm talking to this camera. You know, the sirens are definitely making my point larger, because I don't really have people that I can, you know, talk about these things that are actually really bothering me, that are really like of importance to me. If I did, I wouldn't be making a video. I mean, and I did have them and I lost them, and it was my fault, it was their fault, it was nobody's fault. It's the way it is. Like, I mean, again, the journey to your heart is through pain and suffering, fortunately. So in my idea of heaven, you know, one day when we die, when we get to the gates of heaven, if we arrive there alone, then we'll go to hell automatically. But if we arrive there with somebody else, or somebody else is waiting for us, or we're waiting for somebody, then we can go to heaven. You can't do this alone, for sure. You know, that's the whole point. And the system that we have in place, as you can see, is not really working out for most people. My fortune-telling friend lost her partner, lost her home because of all that, and now she's alone. She said, all I asked from the Spirit was not to be alone. I just didn't want to be alone, and that's exactly what she got. A lot of times we get exactly what we don't want to get, because that's the exact lesson we have to learn. To live alone, so eventually we can live with somebody else. Yeah, something like that. Happy Tuesday. I'm going to go home to make some burgers, and then everything is going to be okay. I feel so much better after making these couple of videos, rather than, keeping all this in my head. Love you all. See you in the next one.